Hello everyone, welcome to Desert Succulent. Today we're gonna be featuring Echeveria Shaviana, or commonly known as the Mexican hens. And when we talk about Shaviana, napakadami nilang klase. And right in front of us is the Echeveria Shaviana pink frills. We also have yung ating blue frills and also yung ating blue truffles. Our pink frill specifically has received a prestigious award of Garden Merit from the Royal Horticultural Society. Kasama niya yung ating Echeveria elegans na naka-receive nung award na iyon. Usually, they have these short stems with rosettes filled with smooth and fleshy looking leaves. The color of your succulent would now depend on which type of Shaviana do you have. If you have the blue frills, then you would be expecting na magiging bluish yung kanyang color. But since we are featuring our pink frills, you would easily notice na talagang very pinkish yung kanyang itsura. It's one of those succulents na literally, when we say pink, it's color pink. The edges ng kanyang leaves are very ruffled or crinkled, wavy looking, and often it has this pink tinge on its leaf margins, something that you could easily appreciate outdoors. Ganito yung kanyang itsura from the top, and because of how it looks, napagkakamalan siya na neon breaker, which is a totally different na succulent. So this is another side-by-side comparison of the two Echeverias. Up close, you would notice na pareho nga silang wrinkled yung kanilang pinaka leaves. I have noticed na medyo mas wrinkled yung leaves nitong ating neon breaker as compared to our Shaviana. And also, mas darker yung color ng ating neon breaker. It will be giving you that purplish color with pink leaf margins. But for this one, it's just the light pink na color. In addition, this one has bigger leaves as compared to our neon breaker. The growing season of this succulent happens during the hottest months of the year, so that's probably summer or our dry season. They are considered as a slow grower, but over time, this succulent can reach about 8 inches across. What makes this succulent unique looking is yung kanyang thin and delicate na leaves. Usually kasi sa ibang mga succulents, they are chubby looking, but for this one, very thin talaga yung kanyang leaves. This one is probably 1 millimeter if we're gonna be measuring yung kanyang thickness as compared to other succulents na usually ganito yung kanyang itsura, diba? Very chubby, and it seems like this one is full of water. Here's another comparison ng kanyang leaf as compared with other Echeverias or succulents. Our pink frills prefer a bright light, but at some point they can also handle some light shade, although they do best with 6 hours of full sunlight per day. My pink frills is receiving an all-day long sun exposure, and that is something that you need to consider kasi with more light, yung kanilang leaves will now display a wide range of colors. They are also considered drought tolerant and able to survive na extended dry periods, something that I always consider before watering it. I make sure na completely dry na nga yung kanyang pinaka-soil before watering it once again. For this specific succulent, medyo special siya kasi pag umuulan na, I make sure to give it a cover or pinapasok ko siya indoors. I'm really afraid na masira yung kanyang farina. Although itong farina na ito doesn't just protect our pink frills from extreme sun exposure, but it also protects them against the rain. It's just that pag masyadong malakas yung ulan and continuously siyang nauulanan, some of its farina might be stripped off, and that is something na I'm trying to avoid. I don't really follow a specific schedule for watering nitong ating pink frills. I just try to check if medyo dehydrated na or wrinkled na yung kanyang mga leaves, an indication na dehydrated or underwatered na siya, and that's the time na I fully soak itong ating pinaka-soil, and again, I'm trying to avoid na mabasa yung kanyang leaves. I also fertilize itong aking succulent. Monthly ko siyang ginagawa, but you have to remember, if you will be fertilizing your succulents, make sure na you are gonna be using low NPK content, specifically yung kanilang nitrogen, kasi an excessive na nitrogen levels sa inyong fertilizer would now encourage an excessive growth rate sa inyong mga succulents, and even if na it sounds good na mas mabilis silang lumaki, it will now produce a weaker succulent. Kaya be careful in whatever fertilizer you are using kasi yung iba sobrang tapang that literally can burn the roots or the plant itself. So you can always pot them in any container that you wish. Pwedeng ceramic, pwedeng plastic, but syempre the best option would be yung clay pots or the terracotta pots like this one. The only disadvantage for this is that pag nakalagay nga siya sa ating rain or shine area, it would appear to be like this. Magiging ganyan siya over time. Our neon breaker kasi is naka-expose siya sa ating rain or shine area, and since madalas siyang nauulanan and naarawan, mabilis din yung growth ng mga algae, those kind of greens dito nga na nakakapit sa ating pot. Something na hindi mo talaga may iwasan, especially here sa ating location. Yung ating soil mix also plays an important role sa growth ng ating pink frills. You have to make use of a well-draining na soil mix. In this case, I didn't use yung ating typical na loam soil. This one is yung ating DIY na soil mix. It's a combination of our garden soil, some vermicompost, yung ipa ng bigas, some pumice stones, and cocoa peat. Further grooming, we have to remove yung ating mga dried leaves dito nga sa pinakababa. Itong mga dried leaves na to would encourage nga yung ating mga pests, especially if nababasa sila, baka magkaroon kayo ng napakadaming mealybugs. So hindi lang because of yung ating mga pests, but also syempre we also need to give space sa mga new offsets na lumalaki or tutubo dyan. And also, syempre, we need to remove itong ating mga dried leaves before we do our propagation. We can simply propagate them through their leaves, through stem cuttings, and syempre, separation ng kanyang mga offsets. Ayan. So, now that we have removed yung ating mga dried leaves, na-expose na nga yung ating mga bottom na leaves, which we can try to propagate. Ayan. So, very perfect yung pagkakakuha natin sa kanya. Ganito dapat yung itsura ng inyong leaf cuttings from the stem nitong ating pink frills for you to have a successful leaf propagation. Ayan, ganyan dapat siya. And if you're gonna be propagating them through their leaves like this one, you should not be upset if yung inyong leaf cuttings will not root or hindi siya magkakaroon ng offsets kasi they often dry out before rooting, and we need to understand kasi nga naman sobrang nipis nung kanyang leaves and they cannot store as much water as with other succulents. We can also behead or pugutan itong ating succulent na to if you wish. All you need to do is remove some of the leaves here until you can expose yung kanyang stem, and eventually you can already cut it doon. Lastly, they are also prone to root rot because of overwatering. Hindi rin maiwasan na magkaroon sila ng mealybugs from time to time, and also we need to watch out for some fungal attacks. And that's all for our Echeveria Shaviana pink frills. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You may also visit our Facebook page at Desert Succulent PH.